the fastest possible way to ascertain if someone is telling lies or is not fit for a job position or not compatible for a relationship is by merely assessing the person's handwriting. Unbelievable, you think? This is neither diabolic nor magical, but pure science, and it is called graphology. The first professional graphologist in Nigeria, Oladipupo Macjob, is in the studio to tell us the significance of handwriting analysis for national development. It's good to have you join us on TVC Breakfast.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning to you. Well, it's interesting that handwriting is not just ink on paper. It's, you can tell the DNA of a writer's personality. Can you tell us, how this works in actual sense? Because some persons will say it's mystical, it's diabolic. How does it work?
All right, so the first thing we have to understand about the handwriting is that if the handwriting had to do with the personality, then everybody would write the same way if it had nothing to do with the personality. So, but because no two handwritings are the same, then it is the basis for being used as a personality assessment, just like the DNA and the thumbprint are different. Okay. So on that basis, you can use it to decipher between two individuals. Have you ever wondered why you had to sign a check as against just stamping the check in the bank? So your handwriting is so powerful that even if you are not there, just putting your signature on a document can get you into trouble if the document is a suspicious document. So that's the basis for which graphology, can be used generally for so many other things that they're being used for, whether in criminal investigations, narrowing it down, or in educational, or in personality profiling, or generally in relationship compatibility. So you can find out if there's a guy asking you out, for the ladies out there, so you can find out something about this guy, whether he's aggressive, whether he's a jealous type, and so many other things, just by looking at the handwriting. It's a very fast way of doing a background check on anyone. Very
interesting. But how does that work? How am I going to be able to decipher if, from the example you gave, this guy is jealous, or what am I to look out for?
Yeah, so, over the years, so many studies have been on, several thousands, hundreds of thousands of handwritings have been studied. So they've arrived at different patterns. Okay. To say that once we see this particular handwriting this way, this is what it means. If we see it this other way, this is what it means. Just like I've been able to assess the 2 handwriting samples that are before me in the studio, interestingly, so you might want to find out what exactly is this handwriting saying to you.
Okay.
So it's just about energy distribution across the pages of the paper. That's what graphology is all about, because everything is about energy.
Okay, so if you would like to show us, you can hold the paper, face the camera so that people get to understand what you're looking out for. So.
All right, so generally, for a graphologist, there are several things we consider. One, we look at the space, form, and movement, and before we take it down to the individual letters, because we have letters of the alphabet in different forms. So you have middle zone letters, you have upper zone letters, you have lower zone letters. What I mean by that is, so I'm talking about upper zone letters are the letters H, for example, H, that's arrow up, L,
D,
B. Exactly, B, very good. So the lower zone letters are J, G. Very good. So you are doing well. Why? So you are becoming a graphologist yourself gradually. And the middle zone letters are the letters M, N, R, O. They are on the same level. All those things tell about the personality traits of individual to a graphologist. And that's the basis for which I'll be saying something about this handwriting sample. Before me, interestingly, this is Sarah. So Sarah, are you ready for?
Please don't spill too much.
All right. Okay, so the first thing, I have 2 handwriting samples with me here. So maybe I'll take the first one in this session and the second one in the other session. So there are certain things that are comparable. They are the same in the 2 handwriting samples. So the first thing I saw when I saw these handwriting samples is I saw what they call fluid thinking, fluidity of thoughts. And that's a trait of intelligence. So this individual is able to connect ideas easily. So you can manage ideas easily, within what you are doing. This person loves attention. This is an extroverted person. I'm assuming this is Sarah. That's what's written on it. This is an extroverted individual. There's a lot of optimism there. this individual is a bit sensitive to being criticized, particularly if it has to do with what he or she believes in. So he or she can get argumentative occasionally. She's emotionally intense. If it's a female, I'm going by the name Sarah, this person is emotionally intense, so she needs to work on the fact that she needs to learn to go off certain things and not bother so much. Loyalty means a lot to this individual. I can see a lot of communication skills. Confidence level is high. And there are a couple of things I cannot say here on air, yes, on national TV.
but looking at how you've been able to, decipher or tell us what personality an individual has just from the ink and paper, or the ink and the handwriting and the mood, how acceptable has this been given our cultural biases?
Yeah, so the acceptance level is still not yet there, and which is why, I appreciate this kind of awareness which TVC is doing, and quite a number of radio stations out there. So because this is a mainstay in some other countries, if you're talking about countries like, France, Israel, and the others, you find out that nothing less than 85% of recruitment cases are screened through graphologists. And that's because of the peculiarities there. So we are hoping that this kind of awareness can come. For example, there's no HR manager that should not have a knowledge like this, because this is the fastest way to do a background check on an individual. It's faster than any computer.
Oh, so instead of going to asking questions.
Yeah, so you don't have to stress the person. And it becomes particularly more important now that the pandemic has thrown in a lot of challenges. So you don't need to be in close proximity with anyone before you can size them up. You just need to have a sample of the handwriting, and it's very cheap. Just a handwriting sample, that's what you need.
Oh, very interesting. I'm afraid we might have to leave it at this. Of course, it's good to discuss this. Very interesting. Although not diabolic, not mystical.
No,
it's
not
just
mystical.
pure science.
Even though I've been accused a lot of times for doing something that's...
Now, what we used to know about people telling, okay, I see you, and then I assess you, and then I tell what your composition is and what you could likely become, and all of those were people who are either, soothsayers and moon gazers and stuff like that. But you're telling us about a scientific way of checking all of that. Tell us how it all works.
Yes, so, and that's because just like the DNA or the thumbprint is unique to each person, your handwriting is peculiar to you. No two handwritings are the same, and that's the basis for which Graphology has a mainstay as a personality assessment tool. Either you are using it for personality profiling, just doing a background check on you, your friends, family, or foe, or you are using it in education or helping you to narrow down criminal investigations.
Yeah, but this is basically just by observance, just by observing a writing. It's not like you're passing it through a machine and all of that. Just observing the writing.
Just observing the
writing.
So
what do you look out for when you see a writing, and what are the things you look out for?
All right, so there are so many parameters you look out for in the handwriting. So you have different parameters. You have the slant, the slope, the size, the margin, the pressure. The pressure is just looking at the back of the handwriting. That tells you if the person is emotionally intense or not. So you have several other things, and sometimes you have to use what they call the emotional gauge to measure, just to be accurate on what you are seeing in the handwriting. But, it still goes back to the basics, which is the fact that two people don't write the same way. If you had to sign a check 1,000 times, they can only be similar. None of them will be exactly the same. And sometimes it's the same mistakes that you find people out there making when you are using handwriting for forensic document examination, that they feel that because the handwriting is not looking the same, that means it's forged. Not necessarily. So that's even more of a scientific type, but two handwritings cannot be the same, even if it's coming from you. So what we look out for are certain things that are peculiar, that will not change regardless of, even if you're trying to forge it or you're trying to play smart, that's what a graphology looks out for.
Wow. So how long does it take to train a graphologist? Talk to us about this, because the point there is this something I can learn as an apprentice?
Definitely. Definitely. So, even though I learned it over about 2.5 years, but you can learn graphology, and the mastery is a different thing. You get to know it every day, if much more and more. But within 6 months, you can be a certified graphologist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Certified in Nigeria or anywhere in the world?
Well, some other places in the world. If you take it seriously,
Okay.
if you can take it seriously, you can get certified within 6 months.
What areas of discipline is graphology needed?
So it's more on the psychological sciences.
Okay.
The areas that is needed, so recruitment is a major area that is needed. And one of the advocacy I'm trying to push out there is that for every HR manager, you need this tool. Otherwise, you are not in tandem with global best practices.
So the point there is, as it is, you as an HR officer, or HR director, HR manager,
Yeah.
you can tell someone to write something for you or write an essay,
Yeah.
and you can know whether this person is good
Is
for
su-
this
is
job
suitable for
or
this job.
not.
So let's assume TVC wants to employ a newscaster. So and you have screened maybe up to 300 samples. You can bring in a graphologist to help you know who is best suited for the job.
Wow.
Notwithstanding what is scored in
So
aptitude
my
test.
HR director, as it is right now, if she's watching this show,
Yes, so-
can decide whether I am good for this job or not.
No, it's already too late now because you're already in the job. So, but
All right.
actually,
Now, I wrote something for you earlier because when
Yes.
I watched you earlier, I had to just scribble down something for you to tell me what, some of those things. So can you make me understand from what I've written there,
All right.
anything I need to know?
all right, so I'm going to talk about this, even though it's not labeled, so, but
Okay.
since you said this is your handwriting sample, so I'm going to talk about this. So a graphologist talks about what the handwriting is saying, not necessarily about what the person's character is. I just talk about what the handwriting is saying to me. So the first thing that screamed at me when I looked at this handwriting was intuition. So this is an intuitive person. I saw a little bit of fluidity of thought, which shows that this person can combine information, differently. This person is a very private individual. He loves his personal space, loves to be, take a lot of time, to himself. If it's possible, he tries hard not to need people. Not like he's not social at all, but sometimes he just loves to be on his own. He has a persona he wants to put out there, different from what he really has. There's a lot of optimism showing from the elevation of the baseline in the handwriting. So one of the things I also see here is that you really don't have very close friends, You really don't have many friends that are close to you. Wow. This is a handwriting sample that is not wired for someone that is in sales. You are not a salesperson. You are more of an indoor, You function better when you have guidelines to follow or protocols to follow. You are on top of your game when you do that. You are a bit sensitive also when you are being criticized on the things you believe in, and the way you come across, across to people is that you can get sarcastic because you are, you have a high level of intelligence, so you can get sarcastic with people because they are criticizing you. So that's an area you need to work on. What I can also say is that you have a lot of drive, you have a lot of energy, and I must say this on national TV that you have a lot of sexual drive.
Sexual drive, oh my God.
I'm so sorry I had to put that, but it was...
And you're saying this on TV? Whoa.
All right,
how did that interpret to that?
All right, so so much. So, the handwriting is energy, your character frozen on the pages of the paper. So
Whoa.
the energy is distributed across different zones in the handwriting. So we have middle zone, we have upper zone, we have the lower zone. So your lower zone letters are showing a lot of energy there.
So the
the lower zone actually is from
about my lower part.
Yeah, so research has proven that over time, from hundreds and thousands of handwriting analysis, they've been able to narrow it down. There's no exact science, but graphology is just a tool you can work with. If you have something that can help you size up someone within a very short time, I think that's a tool that everybody should embrace.
Whoa. Okay. Well, that's that is about. Can you use graphology to tell what someone can become?
Yes.
Does it tell the future generally of someone?
No. So graphology does not talk about your gender. It doesn't talk about your race. It doesn't talk about your religion. It doesn't talk about what you will do in the future. Okay. It can show potentials of what you may do, but it will not categorically say whether you will do it or not. Okay. And it can definitely not talk about what is, the amount in your ATM card. Like somebody was asking me some time ago that, can graphology tell me what's in my husband's account?
How much money I have and
I
stuff.
said, no, it can't do that. So it can't talk about your creed, but it can reveal your emotions at the time of writing. It can talk about your intelligence, your emotional outlay. It can talk about your fears and defenses. What are you scared of? It can talk about your drives, and motivation. So you can reveal all those,
All right. So now you are the first Nigerian certified graphologist.
Yes.
Did you study this in Nigeria or you studied it somewhere else?
No, I'm an alumnus of Handwriting University in Los Angeles, USA.
Wow.
I'm also a member of the American Handwriting Analysis Foundation.
Wow.
So we are hoping that gradually this skill comes.
How do you intend to ensure that we have more graphologists in Nigeria?
All right, so we in our own organization, we train. Some people are on their way to becoming fully certified graphologists now. So because we have trainings in 3 segments, we call it BSc. So you have the basic, the standard, and the certified training.
Okay.
So far, through these awareness programs like this, which is why I appreciate so much what TVC is doing.
Right.
I think it tallies with the name of TVC, first in breaking news. So this is a breaking news to a lot of people.
Thank you very much. Yeah. All right, Oladipupo Macjob, thank you very much for telling me about myself.
I'm sorry about the other part.
No, it's okay. It's one of those things. But thank you so much. We really appreciate you and we wish you well in what you do.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.